Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Truth, lies, shenanigans. 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 Tune in to TLS. Yeah, tune in to TLS. It's the TLS show. Coming to you live from the TLS show.
Mm.
Hey,
Okay, now
I
I
got
can hear you guys.
Johnny.
I couldn't hear you before.
I can hear you guys.
Sweet.
Yes.
Oh no, Neo, we still can't hear you.
That might not be
I think
happening.
you muted your microphone, then you did your audio change.
Are we good now?
Yes.
Love
Good
it.
now.
All right.
We are live.
Season 4 pros.
Welcome to the Truth Live Shenanigans podcast, social commentary, hot topics, amazing guests with a ton of fun and shenanigans along the way. We are back, season 4, and we're ready to do the thing. For today's show, with Election Day coming up, Rob B is wanting to talk about why the midterms are so important. Lizzie has a story about voters fraud. Gianni wants to talk about these rappers getting killed out here. And speaking of rappers, I'm talking Kanye and wondering what in the hell took so long for him to get canceled. Before we get into the show, let me introduce you to my co-host today. First up, our lovely professor, journalist, and editor, streaming live from Washington, D.C. It's Miss Liz E.
What's up,
going on, Lizzie?
everyone? How y'all doing? Happy Sunday Fun Day. Happy November. I hope you guys had a great first couple of days of the month. It's been hot here in Washington, D.C. the past 2 days. Today it was 78 degrees. I walked outside for like 2 seconds. I was like, okay, let me go take some of these clothes off. So hopefully fall, autumn will be coming to us pretty soon. But it's been pretty warm temperatures here in the nation's capital over the weekend.
Surprisingly warm.
Yes.
Mhm.
I hate it.
Yeah, I'd rather
Weird.
get started with the cold, get fall up in here.
Yeah.
All right, our nature lover, gamer, and rock star coming to you from Ontario, Canada, Mr. Rob B. Rock.
Woo!
What's up, everyone? It's so good to be back. This is awesome. Had an absolutely wonderful day today. We celebrated our oldest niece's birthday, a belated birthday, and it's just
Aw.
so
Happy birthday.
amazing to watch them grow.
Happy birthday.
And
What's your
tomorrow
name?
should be interesting. Ryan.
Ryan. Happy birthday, Ryan.
Ryan. Happy
Yeah.
birthday, Ryan.
Happy birthday, Ryan.
And tomorrow should be interesting. I'm going to be on grandpa pad duty because my daughter is going to jail.
Okay.
Oh,
What?
that
No
is.
more
we
reaction.
weren't expecting to hear that.
Yes.
Was she just
No,
visiting
she,
for like...
What a hook.
She is currently studying correction at Cambridge College,
Woo!
and they have organized a trip to a penitentiary in Barrie, Ontario, which is about a 2-hour drive from here. So, going to help
Okay.
out with the
Okay.
little one to
All
get her to and from school.
I
All
figured
right.
there was a catch
That's
to
much
that.
better. That's much better. I was
Yeah,
going to
that's a
say,
good-
Rob, we
good
need to get some
reason.
money together for her commissary.
For commissary.
But
That's
you know,
right.
as long as she's
Exactly.
going there to study and to learn, that's much better. Much better story.
Yes,
a
it
good
is.
reason to go to jail. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
If there were. All right. All right. And our college student, model, entrepreneur, streaming from Atlanta, Georgia, Miss Gianni Storm.
Hey, everybody. Hello. Wait, can you guys hear me?
We can hear
Of
you.
We can
course.
hear you loud and
Okay.
clear.
Because it's like, it sounds weird in my headphones, but I'm glad. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we still got you.
Hello?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
We
It
can hear
sounds
you
so
just fine.
weird. Okay. Hey guys.
She got a delay.
It sounds weird. Yeah, it sounds weird. But I'm doing good, guys, over here in Atlanta. I was excited for Halloween because I actually got to pass out candy for the first time. So it
Oh
was nice
wow.
seeing the little trick-or-treaters and their
Aw.
costumes and stuff like that. But other than that, it's been good over here. It's been smooth sailing with the business and stuff. But I do have some shocking news, kind of similar to Rob, but a little bit worse.
Okay.
So I've
Oh, no.
actually,
You went to
so
jail?
my,
For real?
You
no,
actually went to jail? What?
n- I'm not, I'm not actually the criminal. So
Oh,
no,
there is a criminal involved
Uh-oh.
though.
there's a
Uh-oh.
criminal involved. No, my truck was broken into while I was home.
Aw.
And so the window was smashed and everything. So I'm working on the repercussions of that and getting that together. And it just recently happened like a couple of days ago.
Mm,
So
I'm
sorry about that.
sorry.
Been
yes.
there. That
Well, you
sucks.
said
Definitely
there's
sorry to
somebody
hear
involved.
that.
Did they find him?
No, but I have a feeling that they might live in the neighborhood.
Oh,
Just an intuitive hunch tells me that.
like you
And
might know
so
them, live
pretty
in the neighborhood?
soon, no, I don't know anybody in their neighborhood, but
Oh,
I just have a feeling that it could be somebody in because it was just my car out of the entire neighborhood. I have a huge neighborhood. So it seemed targeted.
Hmm.
But yeah,
so somebody doesn't like you
Who
very
did you
much.
piss off? Who did you piss off, Johnny?
I'm
And
just
you
out
know,
here
girl, I got your
shining and
back.
people.
Yeah.
You know I
People
got your
trying to take
back.
your
You know
shine
I
away.
got your
Who-
back. So
Whose laundry did you
we got
Yes.
your
soil?
back.
Whose laundry did you soil?
Or
They
whose
took it
man
out
did
on
you
me.
steal?
Don't
Whose
let them take
man
your
did you
shine away.
steal?
Oh, who man? Oh,
That's
you
the
talk.
better question. Whose
Nobody's
man did
man.
you steal?
Nobody.
Oh,
We
she's
don't
going
do
after
that over
somebody's
here.
man. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no.
All
But
right.
no, we're good over here. I'm safe. We're good. Sasha's protecting me, and I am
Oh,
always protected. I always have
Awesome.
well, you let us
weapons.
know. You let us know. Because I know folks. I know
So,
folks.
you know folks in Atlanta?
Actually, I does.
I know
So,
that would be helpful.
mm-hmm.
All right. And of course, I'm your host, Neo Nix. Happy to be back for our fourth season. Honestly, I was thinking about it, and when I pitched this idea of our podcast 4 years ago, it was just friends trying to make sense of COVID, George Floyd, and of course, our friend Trump, or Robbie's friend Trump, or I don't know, one of you guys is friends.
You, you the one universal. You're not. You're not.
We're gonna let you guys own him, but I honestly had no idea, that we'd make it to 4 seasons, and we've had over 300 episodes, well, nearly 300 episodes. Amazing guests. We had historical figures like Carlotta Walls, Lanier, Michael Michelle Harris, Javon Anderson, authors, singers, Braden Henry, that man who created the
Yes.
tree shoe.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I'm really thankful for you guys, Lizzie, Gianni, Rob B, kind of sticking it out with me. We've been hanging in there for a little bit. So
Yeah.
through thick and thin, you guys have been hanging out. Lot of thick, little bit of
A lot of
thin.
thick. A lot of thick.
Not
You
a
see
thick.
my face? A lot of thick, y'all.
But
Whole
I
lot
do
of thick.
appreciate it. It's been a fun ride. Four seasons. I'm so happy to be back. So.
Thank
All
you,
right,
man.
so let's go ahead and get into our topics. We're just gonna go straight away. We got some hot topics this week, so let's just get right into them.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
All right, Rob B. Election day is Tuesday.
Hmm.
Tuesday in the U.S. You want to talk
I bet
about
it
these
already.
midterm elections going on? So, Robbie,
Right.
I'll let you take it over.
Makes sense that the token Canadian is talking about the US midterms.
Token
That's
I
awesome.
know.
So yeah, Tuesday, November 8th is when the midterm elections are coming up. And during this midterm election year, all 435 seats in the House of Representatives and 35 of the 100 seats in the Senate are going to be contested. 39 state and territorial gubernatorial elections, as well as numerous other state and local elections, will also be contested. Of note, this is the first election that is affected by the redistricting that followed the 2020 census. It'll be interesting to see how things play out. The Democratic Party has held the majority in both the House and the Senate for the past 2 years, which has helped President Joe Biden pass laws that he wanted. But the Democrats hold that power over the Republicans by a really thin margin. We're talking just a few seats in both. So it's tight. You need to get out there and vote. Specifically, what I wanted to talk about is the impact of a Republican win in three key areas. If the Republicans won, the possible impact on abortion rights and restrictions, the January 6th inquiry would effectively be terminated. And if the Republicans win, there's also a greater possibility that election deniers would be running future elections. So I really want to get your take on these things because that's pretty epic.
Yeah, the election deniers. All right, why don't we start
Oof.
off with let's start with Liz Z.
So when you say you want to get my take, what do you want to know? What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
What do you ask me?
Well,
'Cause I have a lot to say. I mean,
It's
this
a
is a
lot.
very
It's
broad
a
topic.
lot.
I have a lot
You
to
left
say.
it
It's
broad.
so
You left,
big.
your question's so broad. There's so much to talk about.
I left it very broad because that's it. I mean, it's
Your
these
opinion.
are very big topics in your society at this point, and
All right,
yeah,
let me
like I
let me go
really
ahead and
just
start it off. Let me go ahead and start off. So all right, let's first say Dems are basically going to lose the House at this point. I mean, there's a
Yes.
chance. There's a chance, but
Or
Dems, you know, but the reason is because Republican-led states tend to gerrymander the hell out of their districts, so that all their Democratic voters are lumped into like fewer districts, which means, for example, if your state gets 10 representatives, you lump the Democrats into 2 districts. How many Republican representatives does that leave? So you're looking at 8. So I mean, they've gerrymandered the hell out of their districts, so they're probably going to get the House. There's still a chance, but Dems do have a better chance to keep the Senate. Since it's harder to gerrymander the Senate. They have a better chance than keeping the House. I see your
they
face,
only
Lizzie,
have
but
Senate only one voting right now with 50 in the Senate, with Kamala Harris being the
Lizzie, we got you breaking up for
Kinda
some
cut up.
reason.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
yes.
So what I was saying is that the Republicans only need one vote in the Senate to swing to break the 50-50 tie.
Right.
Right now it's 50-50 and Kamala is the deciding factor.
Right.
And so all the Republicans need is just to get one of those votes to come over, and then that's it. We're done.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
but I mean,
and
again, it's more likely we're going to keep the Senate. I mean, if there's some key races, obviously, so we're looking at like Pennsylvania and Dr. Oz and John Fetterman, and then you're looking at Georgia, Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker. I mean, those are key races. So you know, I noticed Kevin Thaxton online said we, meaning Dems, should be specified.
progressive.
Democrats. Democrat.
Democrats could keep the, I'm sorry, just to step in here. So I used to be one of those guys who just would vote for the best candidate, whether it be Democrat, Republican, whatever, best candidate. And, after the Trump era, I just can't do that anymore, to be honest with you. I just, the Trump era has changed the dynamic of the Republican Party to where I just can't support the party at all in any way, shape, or form. So when I say we, I do, I'd probably vote for independents in some cases, but it's very, very, very unlikely that I'll vote for any Republicans.
So when it comes to Republicans, we can basically expect immigration, I think like gun control. Or no, we can expect immigration, religious rights, and like violent crimes. But with Democrats, we can expect the environment, healthcare, and gun control.
Yeah.
So I personally feel that the Republicans might take the House. I think Nebo said. I agree. And I just think, I mean, if we're talking about predictions or if we're talking about what things will look like, I think that there will be a lot more protests coming. I feel like a lot of people are going to just feel restricted. I mean, I'm nervous. I'm honestly I'm gonna be honest. I feel like in this scenario I'm learning more than I am going to like state my opinion because I'm still learning when it comes to politics and when it comes to my government. So
Yeah, and there's a lot to learn. I like
Mhm.
Mike Wolf's comment because I mentioned, it's harder to gerrymander the Senate, but he says the Senate can't be gerrymandered, but it's got built-in inequity. For example, Wyoming, with a population of 500,000, has the same number of senators as California, with 75 times the population. So that's very accurate. So
So let me reiterate again. The Senate, the Republicans in the Senate only need one state to flip.
mm,
So, I mean, it's likely that that's where we are going to see the change. And we're talking about there's
yeah.
6 states that are heavily contested, that are hot button states right now. Neo mentioned 2 of them, Georgia and Pennsylvania. We also have Michigan. We also have
mhm,
Arizona. We
yep.
also have Wisconsin and Nevada, right? All 6 of those states, Joe Biden, unprecedented, all 6 of those states were won by Joe Biden in 2020. And that's where you started to see the chatter from the Republicans about voter fraud, about election
Mhm.
fraud, about how the election was stolen. And so I
Hmm.
wouldn't be surprised if those idiots in Georgia voted for Herschel Walker, if they voted for Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania, if
Which is
Arizona
absolutely
flipped back
crazy to me.
to Republican. Like I would not be surprised because you still have a lot of politicians in those states who are pushing this election fraud narrative.
Hmm.
And so it's going to be very, very tricky to see what the outcome is on Tuesday. But Rob, to get back to
Yeah,
where
it is.
like the idea that midterms aren't really important, where that comes from, I think that starts in schools, right? I think that starts, at the adolescent level. I don't think that we are teaching students or even teaching, Americans as a whole, the
Mhm.
importance of democracy and what that affords you. There are still a lot of some countries on this earth where people, not everyone is allowed or afforded the right to vote. Certain countries on this planet where women can't vote, where people of a certain color or economic background can't vote. And that's not necessarily the case here. But we're not teaching students the importance of voting. Not like you said, you mentioned this is a midterm election, which in my opinion, honestly, sets up the general election for president. And a lot of people just think, oh, well, I only vote in the general election for president. Well, no. So then you are forfeiting your right to have a say on which senator, which House person in the House of Representatives represents your state or your city, like Washington, D.C., who is going to be voting for the next Supreme Court justice, but also at the
Yep.
local
I was
level,
going to
your city
say, yep,
council people, the
yep.
people in your neighborhoods.
We're
And
talking
so
about
these things are
gerrymandering,
not
right?
being,
That's where it starts, the local elections, to prevent
yeah.
that gerrymandering that we were
100%.
discussing, where they're you gotta, the midterms are in some cases more important than the general election for president. I mean, because this
That's
is
why I
where
was
it
talking
starts
about
from.
like the sheer number of seats that are up for grabs. This is a huge, huge election. I would
I mean,
almost dare
even
say that
if
it's more important than your last presidential election because it can
I,
mean a total shift in power.
Yes.
for me, I believe it is, in a sense. And even if, let's say, for example, the shift or the way power is situated in Congress on Capitol Hill, we
Mhm.
could still, have the numbers in Congress in the House of Representatives. But if we don't have the numbers in the Senate, then everything gets shut down. It means
Yep.
absolutely nothing. And so I know, you have crazy Lindsey Graham. What's his name? What's the turkey baster's name? What's his name?
McConnell. Mitch McConnell.
Mitch.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell. You know, Mitch McConnell is sitting back.
You know what's bad is I
He's
knew who you were talking about.
exactly
Yeah.
sorry. But Mitch the expletive. He's sitting
Mitch
back and
Mitch
he's salivating.
McConnell. Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell. He's sitting back and he's salivating at this, because then
Yeah.
if they take over, he will again be the House majority. He will be the Senate. I'm sorry, the Senate majority leader, and which so these things are very important, but these lessons are not being taught to our students, to our citizens. I can't tell you the number of students I had. The last time I taught college students was in May 2021 at Howard University. And so those were 17, 18, and some 19-year-olds. And if they weren't eligible to vote in the 2020 election, their parents still were, right?
Mhm.
So many of them talked about how voting wasn't a big thing in their households. They don't know if their parents voted. They didn't vote if they were 18 years old. And it was really shocking to me because once I became 18, I voted via absentee ballot because I was in Finland. But I just felt that's what made me feel like I was an adult and I could start to contribute to society. Not turning 21 and being able to drink, but being able to vote for the first time. And these issues, these lessons are not being taught to Americans anymore.
Yeah.
So I
That's
think we
very
need to get
true.
back to the roots. We need to get back to the roots and make people understand the importance of democracy, of voting rights, and getting out there to vote. Otherwise, I have nothing to say to you. If you didn't vote and then you come after the election and you complain about a whole bunch of bullshit, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut it. Shut
I
it.
agree.
Shut it.
And then Kevin Thaxton says, and the laws in your state and city. That's another thing to consider is the laws and so, like for example, when we're talking about abortion rights, those are actually on a lot of ballots this year. So that's why it's another reason you've got to get out, and because now that the Supreme Court has decided to make it basically a state issue, the states are now deciding the laws and the rights for people with abortions. So now you've got to get those people in there, and you've got to start getting the people. That's why some states have laws where you can have abortions or have rights, human rights, women's rights, and there are some states where there are no women's rights or human rights. It's because of local elections. And then he also said, "Go ahead."
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, he also said if Georgia elects Herschel Walker, the entire state needs to be deported.
Don't send them north. Do not send
There's
them
so
north.
many.
The Herschel Walker
There's
thing is
so
crazy to me.
There's so many like anti-Herschel Walker commercials that come on in Georgia. Like Herschel Walker
really?
is for abortion. Yes, so like flooded. There's so many. So I would be surprised if he
Wow.
actually did
It's
win.
it's neck and neck though. I mean, your people in
Yes.
Georgia are crazy.
Yes.
I mean, there's no reason. This guy is pro-life, but then he has a bunch of exes saying that he paid for abortion. They've also said that he was abusive. I mean, what in the hell?
Disgusting.
Abusive. He has children outside of his marriages that he really has
Violent.
nothing to do with,
They're
that he hasn't
against
met
all of the
before, that he
values that
barely
they
pays
claim.
child support for, and he's not, in terms of his cognitive skills.
Right.
I'm being nice when I say that.
You are being kind.
He's not very bright. There's some mental health issues that he has admitted to, but also, like Neo brought up, he also has a very violent side. He's also a liar, but like Trump, he's been caught in so many lies. The Republicans seem to that's an issue. So yeah, I would not be surprised if Herschel Walker won that race. Unfortunately, would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised, unfortunately, either. So there's a few comments online because we're.
Kevin's killing me tonight.
I know, right? Kevin's on a roll. But did you have any last things, Johnny, that you wanted to say? Or actually, we didn't get Rob say anything. Respond to his own question.
That's true.
Really, the biggest fear for me is that if the Republicans were to win and you have election deniers who now are in control of the decision making, they have the ability to effectively undermine future elections and destroy the U.S. democratic process. That from the outside looking in, that's terrifying because they've been so radicalized. Neil, like you were saying, historically, you've been able to vote for who you thought was the better candidate, but because of how it's been radicalized, you can't really make that decision. It needs to be an ethical decision for everybody, for the greater good.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. So these comments online. Adeboyega, the state, city, county, and school board elections are just as important as the federal elections.
Yes.
Um, were you gonna say something,
Like
Lizzie?
city council meetings.
It's a little bit long-winded, but it has to do with also Washington D.C. as a city
Oh yeah.
and
So
D.C.
Mike Wolf
statehood.
said, "Who are you guys who live in D.C. going to vote for in the Senate election?"
I'm not going to give the finger because I love you. You
You're
have trust
breaking up
there.
there again, Lizzie. I'm sorry. It's hard to hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can you
just a
hear me
little.
now?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? I just said, with that joke from Mike Wolf, ha 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 ha. I'm not going to give him the finger. But yes, we do not have a vote for any senator in Washington, D.C. because D.C. is not a state. Therefore, there are no
Not a state.
senators here. But one of the things that's very important, and we saw how it affected January 6th, is that because DC is not a state, we do not have the power to govern what happens in DC. So the mayor of DC, Muriel Bowser, she couldn't call in the National Guard. There's no governor for Washington, DC. So everything runs through the White House and the president. And of course, we now know that he said no in the beginning. No, don't send the National Guard there. No, they're fine. It's going to happen. They're fine. So that's why DC statehood is important. And the Republicans do not want DC to become the 51st state.
Of course
And so
not.
that's
Wow.
another issue that is on the table.
Of
So
course not,
there's a
because
lot going
it's
on.
primarily Democratic.
Wow.
so
Mhm.
that'd be two
Deep.
more Democratic representatives in the Senate.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
Robin Johnson says voting is important down the line from local to national. My child just mentioned how she gets to vote next year. Asked
Good
if
for
I
her.
voted, and I was like, absolutely. So
Yeah, I
That's
voted.
awesome.
I voted early. You guys can see I got my sticker. I voted early. So yeah.
yeah, I'm voting on election
Yes.
day. So traditionalist, being a traditionalist this year. All right. Is this truth,
Traditionalist.
lies, or
Shenanigans.
shenanigans?
It's the
The
sad
old-fashioned
truth.
way.
It
It's the
ranks
Oh,
well on the
cool,
truth
Rob.
meter. It
I got
ranks
truth.
well on the
Rob,
truth
that's
meter.
cool.
I didn't
And
see
there's
it.
a lot of liars
Wow.
like Herschel Walker out there. So.
Truth.
It's
I
the
like
sad
yours,
truth
Rob.
that
Mehmet Oz.
these people aren't paying attention. People aren't in tune. People are not doing their civic duty in this country. And it pisses me off. It
Yeah.
pisses me off.
It's gotten better, but it is still sad. You're right, Liz. It's still sad.
All right. Well, you got more to talk about on these elections, Lizzie. What's
So
up with you?
Truth, lies,
as an
shenanigans.
as an offshoot of Rob's topic, I think I mentioned it a bit in terms of the charges of voter fraud, right, across the country. And that was one of the things that a lot of the states that flipped for Biden, they were talking about voter fraud, that the election was a fraud. But as we know, there was no documented proof of voter fraud in 2020. The election
not.
was fair, it was equal, it was justified, right? And so now, what some Republicans are doing to seemingly prove that there is voter fraud is that they're committing voter fraud. Right? So I have this young lady, her name is Kim Papa. She was an official in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and she was charged this week for voter fraud. She allegedly sent military absentee ballots that she faked to a Republican member of the state legislature who supported overturning the 2020 election. And her excuse was, I did this to show how easily it is for voter fraud to seep into an election. So my
What?
question to the panel is,
So stupid.
Is this proof that fraud is a thing? Or is this proof because she was caught and she was fired, so she's no longer in election. She was fired and she's been charged. So is this proof that voter fraud is a thing? Or is this proof that the system actually works?
Hmm.
Mm.
Let's start out with Gianni. Is it proof?
Ooh. Okay, I think that this is proof that the system works because she was caught. Um, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's so stupid. It's like fighting fire with fire. What's wrong with people? But
But that tells you how they think. I mean, it tells you, as Lizzie say, the
sick.
cognitive abilities of these people.
Yeah, it's a little slow. I think, but no, I agree. I think that it is proof that the system does work. Um, it is interesting how she was able to do that, but luckily it was caught. That, I'm sorry. I can't with this video. I can't with this topic. It's horrible.
What do you think, Rob?
Oh yeah, I'm with you. It's the claim that she admitted to the officials, to the investigators, that she was attempting to highlight flaws in the absentee voting system. But really, Kim? Really? No, you're
Kim.
trying to rig the system, and this is part of the problem. Like, make sure you get out and vote so that the right people are overseeing the process. Because in the wrong hands, there's someone just say, "Oh, that's 3 more votes for our side." Yeah, count them up. That's cool. That's cool. You need to have the right overseers in play. So I'm glad that Liz brought this up. And yeah, I'm with Johnny 100%. This is proof that the system works because they nabbed her. Yay!
So
Craziness.
I wonder, did any of you guys notice, as much as the Republicans swear up and down there's voter fraud, that it's 90% of the time it's the Republicans who are the ones that are
Republicans doing it.
cheating?
Yes, it's the Republicans
Wow.
doing it. It's the
You
Republicans that are doing
do
it.
notice that. You do notice that.
I mean, so I mean, it makes sense that they believe, that this is rampant, because it's what they would do, right? It's like a boyfriend constantly accusing his woman of fucking around, but it's mostly because the boyfriend is the one fucking around.
Gaslighting.
I
Yes.
mean, it's like I just don't
You,
understand. I don't understand the thought process sometimes.
you mean messing around, don't you?
I mean, fucking around.
Oh, killing me, son.
You too?
Not
Oh yeah.
messing. Emphasis.
I'm just saying. It's yeah,
Yep.
it's kind of a shame. What were you gonna say, Gianni?
No, I wasn't. I was just laughing at what you were saying. But I think that when it comes to is that what the electional, what did you call it? The election, where they like suppress voters. What is it called?
Voter suppression.
Like,
Voter
oh,
suppression and the redistricting, where what Neo was talking about earlier, where they've just basically moved the lines around to make it easier for a
But
demographic
voter
to get out and
voter
vote.
suppression. I
certain
mean, a
people
good
to vote.
example is like they were talking about. I think this was in Arizona, that they actually I don't know if it was a law or they went to court for it or whatever it was, but there was a couple or a bunch of people who were going to the ballot boxes with like AK-47s and standing out the ballot boxes, claiming to be
Oh my
ballot
gosh.
watchers, right? And so that's exactly an example of voter suppression. I mean, if you see people standing around and you're trying to do the voting and you're trying to do early voting and do the ballot boxes and all that stuff, yeah, they're suppressing that vote because they're making sure that people aren't going. I
They're
see on
discouraging
I
people.
see online we have V, and V said it's equally important. Inflation over democracy, and it's sad. She also said voter suppression. Yeah, it's an awful thing. Um,
So that was going to be, can you guys hear me? I'm back for like 2 seconds while I try to fix this horrible microphone and camera. But that was going to be my next point. So notice how none of the Republicans, when they talk about voter fraud,
mhm.
they never bring up the history of voter suppression in this country and how it's still going on, how it's still affecting the elderly, it's still affecting people in low income communities, in minority
Mhm.
communities. They never want to
Mm.
bring about that. They never want to talk about that. They never want to talk about voter intimidation. How elderly people are being turned away at the polls,
Mhm.
telling them, "Oh, your ID is invalid. Oh, your ballot, you missed it. You didn't do fill out your ballot correctly." Or they're shutting down a lot of polling stations in certain neighborhoods,
Neighborhoods.
making
Mhm.
access to voting very difficult for certain people. So if you're going to talk about voter fraud, you also need to talk about that too. And you would think in a democracy, you want as many people voting as possible. But it seems that these Republicans, they're like, no, too many people voted in 20. So we got to change that. We got to change that. That's
Mm.
not a good thing.
Yeah. V on
Yep,
Instagram
that's
also
true.
says it affects minorities the most, especially when voting polls are closed.
Mhm. And Olivia on YouTube says, we don't need another walker. And she also said that 21 was pretty important with, some wine glasses, some happy emojis, some beer.
21
Wait,
was
what,
nice.
21? You talking about the year 21?
Age
Um,
21.
Age 21. All right. V also says Trump wanted people to stop voting. Yeah, he did. And
mhm.
Kevin Thaxton said gerrymandering. All right. Lizzie, was there anything else you wanted to address? you look,
No, I think
it's
She's
weird.
ready.
You look like Pam Grier from that view. It's like you look like you're in the 70s.
listen, I'll take that. That is a compliment. I
Right.
will take
That is
that.
actually
Damn
sweet.
straight, that's a
I would
compliment.
Foxy Brown, I
Yeah.
will take that.
You Foxy Brown it up in here.
I'll take it.
All right, final words, Lizzie.
No, no, I final this Yeti microphone is fucking up my camera, so we won't be using that anymore. But I think we hit the nail on the head with all of the topics, involving the midterms, but also, what voter fraud really is in this country. It's only voter fraud for the Republicans when they don't get their way. Notice how they talked
Mhm.
about, it was a selection, but they only meant the Biden winning being stolen. Like a lot, they never really contested all of the Republican senators and the House of Representatives who won in those elections. It
Yep.
was just Biden. They were on the same ballot, right? Right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
We see y'all. We see y'all for who you are.
She said we
So
see
is
y'all.
this truth, lies, shenanigans, or
Truth, lies,
bullshit?
shenanigans.
Bullshit.
Oh, I got a bullshit one.
I declare
Bullshit.
shenanigans, but
I'm
the
on
system
all,
got her.
I'm all about the shenanigans right now. All about the shenanigans. Gianni, what'd you say it was, Gianni? You said I declare shenanigans.
That, like
Bullshit.
South, it's like South Park. Get
Bullshit
your broom. I
shenanigans.
declare shenanigans. Get your brooms.
B on Instagram says, tell your friends and family, even when they don't want to hear it, vote and vote. Let your voice
Yep.
be heard. Yes, 100%. All right, Gianni Storm, you are up next.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
You want to talk about
Okay.
them killing these rappers out here?
Yes. Okay, guys. So if you know, you know, the rap trio, the Migos, just recently lost a member. His name is Takeoff, whose real name actually is Kershnick Ball. He was shot and killed at a Houston bowling alley on November 1st. And according to reports, he did die on scene. There are more details coming in on why this happened, but people who were there were saying that um, during the incident, they were disputing. Like the rapper Quavo and Takeoff were disputing with other people, but Takeoff was the one
When
that
you say
was killed,
disputing, you mean
unfortunately.
fighting, like arguing?
Arguments,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
It was going to escalate to a fight.
Mhm.
Actually, I take that back. It was only Quavo, the one that is also in the group. He
Mhm.
was the one that was arguing with people. Takeoff wasn't arguing, and so yeah, he was the one. Unfortunately, Takeoff that was killed. And this death, I wanted to highlight Takeoff's death in the as the latest in a trend that stretches back to 2018. So each year since then, gun violence, whether through robbery or disagreement, has killed at least one rapper who was either already famous or on the cusp of crossover fame.
Hmm.
So we know the type of things that these artists talk about and the type of lifestyles they live. However, my question to you guys, do you believe there will be change in hip hop culture and violence? Do you see a change in that happening because of all of these rappers dying?
Mm.
Yeah. Did you actually see the video?
Yes, yep, I saw the video.
Yeah. All right. Let's start with Lizzie.
Few different videos actually.
So, what was your question again, Gianni? Do I think that there will be a change?
Change,
Um,
yep, change.
That's what she asked. Yep.
no, and I'm not assigning that to the rappers. It's not that these are bad people. Especially if you think about all of the rappers that have died. So you highlighted back to 2018, right? So I'm just going to read a list very quickly
Yeah.
of the rappers who have died from gun violence. So in 2018, and forgive me if I don't pronounce his name correctly, um, but in 2018, Extension or Extension, is that how you say his name? Extension.
Probably.
He died in a robbery at a motorsports store. They rolled up on him while he was coming out of the store. He was in his car, actually, and they rolled up on him and shot him to death.
Hmm.
Okay. Then you had 2019, Nipsey Hussle, who was shot at least 10 times as he was standing outside of his business on a strip mall.
Hmm.
So he wasn't engaged in anything. He was standing outside with other people. Okay. 2020, Pop Smoke died gun violence. Somebody shot him in a home invasion.
Hmm.
2021, Young Dolph. He was shot while he was at a bakery buying cookies. Okay. And then
Hmm.
you go to 2022 before Takeoff, like maybe a month or so before Takeoff, you have this other rapper, PNB Rock. He was shot in California as he was eating with his girlfriend at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. None of these were incidents in which the rapper was the aggressor, where the rapper was engaging in illegal activity. Unfortunately, this is a sign of the time. And because rappers stand out because one, they are black, they are rich, they have a lot of money, they have a lot of
Mhm.
jewelry, they drive big cars, whatever, they stand out and people are jealous and they want to engage in certain things. And so, do I think it's going to stop? No, because the crime in the United States, especially gun violence, is going up.
Hmm.
Like it's not just
Mhm.
rappers being killed. I mean, think about every time we, turn on the news and somebody's shooting up a school, somebody's shooting up a church.
Yeah.
This week or this past week in Washington, D.C., over the past, I think it's 10 days now, three teenagers, three teenage boys have been gunned down, shot, murdered. And that's kind
Mm.
of unusual for a city this small. I know there's crime in DC, but for three teenagers to be out and about, they weren't committing crimes, out and about minding their business with their friends, and someone to roll up on them and just shoot them, pow, 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 that's unusual. So I
Mm.
don't think it's going to change,
Horrible.
unfortunately, because the gun violence culture in this country isn't changing, and crime has gone up. Violent crimes have gone up, especially coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah, you were going down the path that I was going, because rappers have been killed for decades. Go back to you listed a bunch of recent ones, but Biggie, Tupac, Scott LaRock, Nipsey Hussle. I mean, the list is long, and and,
Mhm.
and it doesn't include people that survived the shootings, like 50 Cent or
Hmm.
shit. Damn,
Yeah.
Tupac was shot a couple of times. So, you know, I was reading an article, and there was this professor at Ohio State, Elaine Richardson, and she specializes in African American cultures. And she said it's a reflection, and this is similar to what you were saying, Lizzie, it's a reflection of the problem of gun violence in the larger society and violence in general in America. You have to think critically about oppression and the larger context we live in. Gun violence is a part of the condition of black people in society, and there's always going to be a disparity in our communities. It's all systematic. This is a part of the way this society is structured. So it's exactly what you were saying, Liz. I mean,
Mhm.
it's the problem is gun violence in America, right? Until you solve that problem, you're not going to solve this problem like that Gianni brings up about rappers getting killed and things like that. It's just not going to change, and it's definitely going to happen more in poor or disparaged communities. Um, so, Robbie, what are your thoughts?
Do I think there's going to be a change in hip hop culture? No, it's always going to be about the money and the honey and having a good time.
The money and the honey.
Um, right?
That's not all hip hop,
I
but
was
go
going to
ahead,
say
Rob.
that's not
That's
the
not all
entire
hip
hip
hop.
hop community.
That's not all hip
That's
hop. Go ahead, Rob.
that's a lot of it.
I would disagree with that.
Depends
We
on
might
what
have to
hip
have a
hop you
separate
listen to, but
discussion
go
on the
ahead,
hip hop
Rob.
community.
but as far as the violence is concerned, then I'm on board with what Neo and Liz are saying, that there's a greater issue at hand. In 2022 alone, when I was looking at the stats, you see one or two deaths a year if you go back for the last decade. But then when you get into 2022, 7 rappers have been killed already this year. Last year was 2. So there's definitely a change. And as I was reading it, I know that Takeoff in former interviews was very careful about his social media presence, disclosing too much personal information. He's not someone who's inflammatory. Um, he tried to avoid about rapping about death so as not to manifest anything negative. So it's not like this kid was painting a target on himself. It's he was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and it's at least that's the way it seems at the onset, and it's
Feels like it's a
tragic
bit
that
instigated, but not by
yeah,
But
him.
even if
but
I,
but I mean,
I
come
mean,
on, if you disagree, punch him in the mouth,
I was
don't
just gonna say,
shoot
like,
him.
I don't even because a lot of
Yeah.
people online
That's something that V was saying on Instagram.
have been blaming Quavo for what happened because he got into an altercation. So they were at a bowl outside of a bowling alley playing dice. And okay, you play dice, you play spades,
AIDS,
you play dominoes. There's gonna be trash talk back and forth.
trash talk,
That's
a
just
lot
the
of it,
nature of the
all the
piece.
time.
Very
Yeah,
rarely do
every
you
time.
have
You don't want to
people.
play against me.
Very rarely do you have people pulling out guns to shoot somebody. So, and it was said that Takeoff was trying to de-escalate the situation.
Mm,
Okay, and so that's why I'm saying I don't blame the rappers here. And two
okay.
other people were shot as well. Two other
Yeah.
bystanders were shot as well. And so
Were they
I don't
targeting
blame.
him, or was he just hit
I
randomly?
think
I
I
think he
think
was
he
hit
was hit
random.
randomly.
Mm.
I think the argument started and
Is
someone pulled out a
allegedly.
gun and just
Started shooting everybody.
started
Okay.
shooting. Um, but again, that's a sign of the times, unfortunately.
So
That's a sign
V
of the time.
So V on Instagram says, watch the video. They were fighting with fists, but no one deserves to die over a fight. It's senseless. If you watch the opposition feat in the video, he fell to the ground and then shots fired, and no reason for anyone to take up firearms. A lot of countries don't allow guns, and they are safer countries. I'd rather ban guns than allow it to fall in the wrong hands. Black and brown people can look intimidating, unfortunately, to certain people. It's shoot first for cops and trigger happy people.
Well, you bring up a good point though about the guns because you question the venue. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're a bowling alley, right? Y'all aren't checking people at the
Mm-hmm.
door.
Yeah.
Apparently they did check people, so how did they get guns? How would they
Not
like let pass?
they weren't
And
because
check
they
good
weren't
enough.
really checking people. Because a lot
Edit.
of times when you
Exactly.
have entourages, when you have celebrity entourages, they let them bypass security.
Yeah.
They don't check everybody. They let them bypass security,
Exactly.
unfortunately.
That's true.
All right.
Um,
Ade Boyega
That's
says,
true.
if hip hop culture doesn't change course, it will get worse. All right. Is this truth, lies, or shenanigans?
Shenanigans.
Well, it is true, but it's
Yeah, this is a
also
very sad truth.
shenanigan.
Kind of sad. I'm going with just
For
simple
shenanigan
simple
reason.
truth. It's pretty sad though. A lot of shenanigans with gun
Uh,
violence and gun culture. All right, we're gonna have to treat our last topic as a quick fire. We got 3 minutes to discuss because we're out of time. All right, here we go.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
All right, newsflash: Kanye West is no longer a billionaire. Dude's been
Ooh.
putting out years of nonsense, rants with his ex-wife's boyfriend, idiotic comments about George Floyd, campaigning for Donald Trump, mocking Black Lives Matter with a White Lives Matter shirt. And even with all that, Kanye was never canceled and instead somehow became a billionaire. One of the richest men on the planet, actually. At least one of the richest black men on the planet. Mostly because of his that Yeezy clothing line. But despite all of his nasty comments, bullying, attacks, his fans just didn't give a damn. He seemed impervious to the cancel culture that we've got going on. But apparently, we found his kryptonite: Jews. For some reason, he's been attacking Jewish people for months, even justifying it by saying it wasn't anti Semitic because black people are the original Jews. But the straw that broke the camel's back was a tweet saying he was going to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, and almost overnight he lost all those $1 million contracts from Gap, Adidas, and that completely decimated Kanye's brand. And then on top of that, we got Kyrie Irving, who decided to join the anti-Semitic bandwagon, posting anti-Semitic video on his social media. So my question to you, out of all this ridiculous stuff, Robbie doesn't want me to cuss, from Kanye and Kyrie, uh, after all they've said and done, why do you think anti-Semitism was the thing that finally sent everything over the edge? And while you're at it, please explain to me why Kanye's fans were setting up this GoFundMe trying to make him a billionaire again. All right, we got
That's you just answered the question.
Capitalism.
You just
you
answered the question.
get like 1 minute each. Go ahead, Lizzie.
Celebrities are afforded different privileges than we are as common folk.
Yep.
You know, when celebrities, because they have a following, they have a fan base, their fans continuously make excuses for their behavior. And especially Kanye. And it wasn't just a lot of people like, oh, well, black people, because there were a lot of Jewish celebrities who were asking black people to come out and denounce what he said. I'm like, we've been talking shit about Kanye for years. Y'all just didn't listen. Black people canceled him after that comment about slavery being a choice, after he mocked Harriet Tubman, after he said that black women want to look like Kim Kardashian. We've been telling y'all just didn't listen. And so, but it's a part of being a celebrity. Think of all of the celebrities who get in trouble and all of their fans who make excuses for them. So that's where it starts. That's where it starts. We afford celebrities a lot of leeway when it comes to bad behavior.
Too much. Too
Way
much.
too
Too
much.
much. Too much.
Way too much. All right, Robbie, you're up next. 60 seconds, buddy.
Why it's taken this long to get him canceled, I have no idea. It's like Liz. Once you have a legion of fans, fans comes from fanatical. So they're just devoted to this person. And for the poors to turn around and say we need to restore his billionaire status and start a GoFundMe, that's just stupid. Because Kanye should be trickling down hundreds of millions of dollars to you. Why? Because he has it and he can make your community better. So keeping his B instead of multiple M's, I don't get it. That's just
Yeah,
stupid.
that's
It's beyond me.
stupid.
Johnny,
That's
60
just
seconds.
so dumb. To answer your first question, I think the reason that Kanye is officially canceled is because, well, Lizzie was right. We black people, we did cancel Kanye, but it's almost as if like we didn't come together, we didn't take it serious. I don't know, but Jewish people came together and actually, as a community, canceled him, and also they do have a lot of power, and
Fair.
I think that they were able to like cancel deals with him. I don't know Kanye
Mhm.
being
Pressure
with an
people.
all black, yeah, like with an right pressuring people. I think too, but to my point about black people canceling him and it didn't really take an effect. Look at R. Kelly, look at Bill Cosby. People aren't publicly like praising them, obviously, where black people aren't like praising them anymore, but are they officially canceled? Are they still being supported by black people? The answer is yes. So, yeah, that's how I feel. That's why Kanye was
Mm.
officially canceled, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you know who
They
else
had more
didn't
power.
cancel him very quickly? You know who else didn't cancel him until inconvenience? The Kardashians. Kim wasn't
True.
saying shit about Kanye and all of his bad behavior until he came for her. Everything else was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. And she
She was cool
actually
with
even
everything.
supported a lot of it. She encouraged a lot of it. So
Yeah.
it's not just us. It's the woman he laid down with. Never checked him until he tried to come for her.
Yes.
Yeah. Adeboyega says, Gianni, you're speaking facts, 100%. Um, and Jacqueline Robinson kind of repeated what you said, because Jewish people value their culture and have enough sense to know that hate leads to their destruction. Us, we accept any level of disrespect, especially when it's open season on black women. Some people are so enamored with celebrities that they will send their children to a school opened by said celebrities, even when the schools aren't even accredited. So
Even
Donda.
when he acknowledges that he doesn't read, he hasn't read a book since Jesus wept. Yet you're gonna send your child to his school? What is that? What is that?
What is that?
You know, Trevor Noah made me laugh. He said, why would you go to DEF CON 3? Because the highest level is DEF CON 5. Why'd you only do 3? Anyway.
That's because he doesn't read
dumb.
books and he doesn't
Right,
understand. Exactly.
To your point. All right. Is this truth, lies, or shenanigans?
Kanye.
Oh,
Kanye
I
and his
just want to be. And
shenanigans.
This is
Kyrie and
a
his shenanigans.
shenan
Just to
again.
get into Kyrie's foolishness. But let me just say this about Kyrie. All of you
Shenanigans.
guys should have
Liar.
canceled him the moment he said out of his mouth that the earth is flat. We swear y'all had thrown him to the wolves the moment he said that.
Absolutely.
Now,
It's liar pants on Kanye. Kyrie
Somebody
Irving.
artistic skill, liar pants.
I know.
Some pants on fire.
Creative.
One last comment. V on Instagram says, "Oh my God, someone put a muzzle on him." Did I just say that? Shh.
Oh, not a muzzle.
All right. Great topics, guys. That was fun. But
wear it.
As always, we got to close it out with some fun. So let's go with Shenanigans, the game show.
American Idol.
Lizzie's the contestant.
My graphics today. I'm getting a little disappointed.
I think everyone's graphics are off today, Neo.
Yeah, not just you, Neo.
Man, my graphics are like messing up. Hold on, I'm gonna try it again. Let me see if I can make it work. Nope, it's still. I am so disappointed. We're gonna fix our graphics for episode 2.
We're gonna fix it.
All right.
We're gonna do like American Idol judges. I'm Paula Abdul.
You're Paula Abdul.
Oh, you need to get a couple.
I want to be Randy.
No. You need to get a couple more drinks in you if you're going to be Paula.
Oh.
Hey.
I like Paula. She was
actually. She's already had a few drinks.
That is a good bit.
I've watched her.
Straight up, I'm about to tell you, Rob. Straight up, I'm about to tell you.
That's so funny.
All right, let's get to it. So the way it'll work, we'll go around the horn. Each of you will pick a category at a dollar amount. You must phrase the response as a question. If you get it right, then you get whatever amount of points you picked. If you get it wrong or fail to phrase it as a question, you get absolutely nothing. You won't lose points, you just won't get anything. Person with the most points at the end of the round of 3 rounds wins the final word, final thought for the show. All right, so your categories today: Republicans, Democrats, presidents, debates, and quotes. All right, we're going to start out with Lizzie. Lizzie, pick your category and your amount.
I switched screens. Okay. Gosh, I guess since I'm a Dem, I'm gonna start with the Dems. Dems for 100.
Dems for 100. Oh, what the hell? Ice cream blank. I don't know what that is.
Is that a code name for a law?
I don't know what that is.
I missed that part of the Democratic Party.
Ice cream. Oh no. What is this? Hold on, hold on.
What?
Let's see. What state? Oh, let's do this.
Okay.
What state was Bernie Sanders a senator for? That must be a mistake.
That's a
what is
hard one.
Vermont?
What
is Vermont?
Vermont. That is correct. All right, you
For
get 200 points.
200.
You get 200 points for Lizzie. All right. Next, Robbie. Category and amount.
Let's go
Yeah, this cat has
presidents for Hyundai, but US. Yay.
Presidents for
This is how I
100.
feel about the category. This is how I feel about this.
Oh,
We're going to
oh
do
my
US
God.
politics.
Perfect.
For 100. First U.S. president.
I feel you, Rob.
All
Okay,
right.
come on.
It's
Come
100.
on.
I didn't make
What's
this.
a Hyundai?
What?
Come on.
So who is it?
Who's George
Too
Washington?
easy.
Who is George Washington? That is correct.
Token Canadian gets the point.
Robbie gets 100 points. All right.
We're going to exile you. If
The
you don't
Canadian
know the answer
got
to that question, American,
All right, Gianni
we're
Storm.
going to exile you.
Category
Yes.
and amount.
Okay. Category. Ooh, where are they? Am I the only one not seeing them? Oh.
Republicans, Democrats, presidents, debates. Where did they go?
Well, quotes. I'll choose quotes for 200.
Ooh.
Quotes for 200.
Ooh, go,
Can you
Jenny.
shut up, man?
Oh.
Can you shut up, man?
I know this is easy.
I did too, actually.
Right?
Can you shut up, man? I'm trying to get the voice in my head.
Can
Oh,
you shut up,
that was
man?
quick.
No, go ahead.
Who is Bill Clinton?
No.
Did you just
right,
say who
Cardi?
is
Who
Bill
is Joe Biden? Who is Joe
Yeah.
Biden?
Who is Joe?
Wrong answer.
That is
That was such a
incorrect.
I had to
great
give
presidential debate
somebody.
moment. Can you shut up, man?
Can you shut up, man? That was a great moment. All right, no
Damn
points
it.
for Gianni Storm. All right, Lizzie. Category and amount.
Shoot. Oh, shoot. Let's go with
I should've
quotes
did
for
president.
300.
Quotes for 300. Okay, we're lucky because we don't have someone with the temperament of Donald Trump running the country. We're lucky because we don't have someone with the temperament of Donald Trump running the country.
Who could have said
And
that?
this was,
Clearly.
I mean, that could have been anybody.
Has to be a
I'm gonna
Democrat.
go with, yeah, definitely has to be a Democrat. I'm gonna say, who is Barack Obama?
I was thinking the same thing. Who is Hillary Clinton?
And you know what? That was in my head, that was my first choice. I'm like, nah.
Wow.
Wrong
When did
answer.
she say that?
Wrong answer.
I said
All
who
right.
is emails.
Lizzie's still in the lead. All right, Robbie Rock.
Can't let the Canadian
Ooh.
beat.
Right? Yeah. You know what? Let's go presidents for 3.
Presidents for
Ooh.
300. Let's see.
Getting daring.
President on the $50 bill. He may not
This
know.
thing is rigged.
I don't know your
He probably
currency.
doesn't know.
I don't know your currency.
Wow.
Do you know, Gianni? I'm just say yes or no. You don't have to answer.
I can
Yes.
say Andrew Jackson.
That is
Who is
incorrect.
Ulysses.
Wrong
And it would not have been correct anyway because I didn't ask in the form of a
Wrong
question.
answer.
Apparently, I don't know. That's
Who do
funny.
you think it was?
I'm not gonna say it's so embarrassing.
Smart girl.
I got all these fitties over here.
All right,
Of course
Lizzie's
I
still in
do.
the lead. Gianni Storm, category and topic.
Okay, I choose. Oh, I'm definitely not gonna do debates. I'll do presidents for 400.
Woo, for 400. Let's see.
Okay, let's see.
President with most assassination attempts.
Not Joe
Oh,
Biden.
no.
Why would they put that?
I don't know.
I know.
I feel like there's a Republican who created this or something.
That is such
What is
shade.
that?
That is such shade.
President
Oh,
with
that's
most
hard.
assassination attempts.
I'm going to say Trump. I know that's a stretch, but not really. I'm gonna say Trump.
No.
Who tried
No?
to kill Trump and why didn't they succeed?
Who is
Oh, I should have said
Ronald
Reagan.
Ronald
Duh.
Reagan.
Who is Ronald Reagan? All right. You guys are struggling here. Lizzie
nobody tried to
remains
kill
leader.
Trump?
It's the last and final round. So,
Johnny.
All right. Lizzie, category?
I'm gonna go with presidents for 200.
Presidents for 200. All right. The
Ooh.
30th president.
Ah, shit.
Oh, that's specific. Okay.
What are we at?
Yep.
It's a little harder than the first president, yes.
And that's why I hate y'all. I hate y'all.
Right.
Well, you picked
That
the
one was
200.
hard.
Oh.
Who is? I think there's a high school in DC. Who is Coolidge?
Who?
Wilson. Who is Coolidge?
Oh, that is correct.
Yay!
Oh.
She wins the game because
No,
that was
she doesn't
good.
win yet.
No,
Hold
no.
on. You
Oh.
still have a
No,
chance. You
buddy.
still have a chance. All right. you
Okay,
have to
good.
you have to make sure you got 400 points. So, Robbie,
Okay.
Caddy, you
Well,
need at least 400 points to
Yeah,
tie.
I know. So I'm gonna take
Oh,
quotes
no,
for
you need
4.
300. You need 300 points to tie. Sorry.
So I need 3 to tie. So I'm
Oh.
gonna go. I'm gonna go quotes for 4.
Quotes for 4. You're going for the win. All right.
Jeez.
We need to see his tax returns. We need to see her emails.
Even I know this.
Don't
What
do
is
that to me. Not cool.
I think I know who this is. I think I know who it is too.
I think I do.
Gosh, I
Tick
don't know.
tock, tick tock. I don't know. It's not the correct.
Wrong answer.
Who is? I don't know.
Who are Trump and Hillary?
Yay! I knew it.
Well, that's a twofer. No.
Because I guess Trump said we need to see. Well, Hillary must have said we need to see his tax returns.
His tax
And Trump
return.
responded, we need to see her emails.
I totally misunderstood the question, actually. I thought they were asking who said that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hillary
Yeah,
said
Trump and
we need
Hillary.
to see his tax
So
returns. and
Hillary
Trump
said-
we need to see her emails.
Oh.
All
Yeah,
right.
That's not fair.
Gianni,
The way
That's
they
not
you
set
fair.
that
still
up
have a
was not
chance. You can
good.
tie with 400 or you can beat her with 500.
All right, let's try to do 400. I'm gonna do Democrats.
Democrats for 400. All right. Which committee did Bernie
Yippee.
Sanders serve on as well as become chair of?
I know. Goodness, Bernie.
I know this. I know this.
Committee. Bernie gives me what kind of committee guy is he?
Bernie, blah, 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 Bernie. I know this. I know this.
I have an idea. Tick,
Oh,
Who?
shit,
I
know
mean,
this.
what
Tock.
is?
Tick,
Um.
tock, tick, tock, tick, tock.
Wrong.
All right. Too long. All right.
Wait, environment. Sorry.
Committee on Veteran Affairs. Veteran Affairs. So that means
Aw,
Lizzie
I would've never got
wins
that.
the game.
Next.
Lizzie
I get to
wins
quote
the
Liz.
I voted.
Rigged.
I voted, y'all. I voted.
I'm looking
let
at the
the
comments
let the
online.
tech
Edward
machines
Boyega said,
own
"Who
it
is Orange Man?" Kevin Thaxton guessed commerce. All right,
Nice.
that was good. Let's give
Don't
us a
let
shot.
the don't let the fool you. I won it. I won it.
You did win.
Yeah, that was pretty good answers you had. I will say that.
All right, Johnny, shout outs.
Shout out to you guys. It was very fun being back. I love that we have a new season, that we're all together. And shout out to you guys in the audience. We're excited to be back with you.
All right, Robbie.
Very special shout out to the audience. Yes, it's wonderful to be back. Wonderful to be with my co-host yet again for season 4, like Neil was saying at the very beginning of the show. And a special shout out to all the November babies who have birthdays coming up, because there's a lot of fun activity that goes around February 14th. Just saying.
I'm gonna send out.
Nice.
Go ahead, Lizzie. Your shout outs.
No, I was just
Passion, baby.
saying somebody has a big birthday coming up. Somebody, and so my shout out is
Yay!
going to go to that person. Shout out, Robbie. You about to be half a century, bruh. You about to be half a century.
So much wisdom.
That's what we'll call it. We'll call it wisdom.
We'll call it that.
You guys are crazy.
Happy early birthday, brother. Happy early birthday.
Thank you so
I hope
much.
this is an amazing one for you.
Scorpio
Hope you
gang.
get a kick-ass new guitar. That's what I'm hoping for you.
Another one.
That'd
Okay.
be nice.
He said
Okay,
okay.
original. A Prince original.
Oh, that would
Ooh.
be
All right. Yeah,
that'd be sweet.
my shout out goes out
That'd be
to all the
iconic.
people online, but I'm going to give a shout out to V on Instagram. She hung in there for a while. So that was
Hi, V.
good to see some Instagrammers communicating with, excuse me, communicating with us.
Instagram.
Yep. And that is officially all the time we have for today's show. I see we have a comment from Adeboye. Glad y'all are back. Good show, y'all. So I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. Hope you learned something, gained a new perspective, simply had a laugh. We will be back next week talking about the outcome and impact of the midterms with guest host Mayor Patrick Woyan. And our winner for the final thought of the day is Miss Liz E.
So I just want to say, like kind of an offshoot of a topic, that Neo brought up in terms of Kanye West, in terms of Kyrie Irving and anti-Semitism. This goes to community. We can't have it both ways, okay? You can't get upset and, start protesting whatever when people are making racist comments about Black people, but then be like, when the anti-Semitic comments come out, when the anti-Asians come out, you have to be there and be down to refute and call out all of it. And that's what I do. That's what I do every single day of my life. Like, I love people. I love diversity. I love the differences in cultures. And we need to embrace that. Like, yes, my Black life matters, but so does your Jewish life. So does your Asian life. So does your anti or non-Black life. We can't act like one is better than the other. So let's come together and stomp out all of this evil, y'all.
Yeah.
Let's stomp it out.
Yes.
All
And
right.
again,
Love it, Liz.
Kyrie is an
Love it.
idiot.
Love that thought.
Kyrie is an idiot. Black
He said
Earthers,
Kyrie
be
is an idiot.
damn, go
That's the
away.
final thought.
Go
All right.
away.
All right, well, thank you, Robbie Rock, Gianni, Lizzie. Most importantly, we need to thank you for listening to our shenanigans for 4 amazing seasons. We love you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.